We actually have two data sets that we maintain. It's interesting about the two dates. Let's examine the latter date first. December 21, 2012, at 11:11 a.m., not p.m., is the alignment that was deliberately created by Pope Gregory under the auspices or under the direction of the powers that be at that time. They took a German mathematician of some note who assembled a team, and then they used texts that theoretically do not exist. This is to say, many of the Mayan books that were said to have been burned, in fact, were not burned, and they were carefully crated up and taken back to the Vatican as part of the payoff for the expeditions and the slicing of the planet between the Spanish and the Portuguese by the popes of that time. Now, when Pope Gregory had the calendar redone, they went to considerable work. That is to say, a team of 15 mathematicians, led by this particular German mathematician, spent some 5 months in the reconciliation level alone to get the Gregorian calendar to align specifically with the end of the Mayan calendar on these particular numbers. So they did it from a numerological viewpoint. They wanted the 11:11 a.m. because 11 is the number of mastery. It is one number beyond divinity. And the 11:11 combination brings you to 22, which is their number for sainthood or ascension. And then the whole December 12, 2012, if you start looking at the numerological values that are inherent within that, you see that it continually points back to the broken cross, or the what's known as the swastika. This swastika has been tainted by the use by Hitler et al., but in fact it's a very meaningful symbol that derives extremely ancient. I mean, even the Jain, who go back millions of years, found that symbol handed to them as opposed to discovering it. And here's what it really means. If you look down on a swastika and the idea of a broken cross, it's both the double cross indicating the four-sided pyramid, or five-sided counting the bottom, but it also, in this particular instance, represents a solar effect. This solar effect can be seen from the sun or from outside the earth, but we can't really see it from here. But there are these four streams of activity that go from the magnetic field of the earth up to the sun, and because of the rotation of both the sun and the earth, these streams are not held as continuous straight lines, but in fact bend and twist. Now, they don't really twist like a spiral in a candy or something. They just twist at this one particular point, and so from an outside view, they form the swastika. So the swastika is actually encoded in the way in which the 2012 date was worked out. It was encoded as a reference to solar activity that they understand will occur at that time. And the thinking at the time from the Gregorian calendar, Pope Gregory et al., relates entirely to these hidden level Mayan books that I believe the Vatican still possesses, which go to great detail, according to references I've read about those things that were theoretically burned. These went to some great detail as to the solar stuff that was going to occur. Now, I actually am of the opinion that Kalaman is much more correct than people would give him credence for, but that nonetheless, the actual end date of the calendar is the 2012 date, the end date of the long count. It may not be as meaningful as Kalaman's date, though, because Kalaman is actually working on a different view of the conjunction of the calendars, and he's discussing the beginning of the end rather than the end of the end, if we want to look at it that way. So his is much more pertinent to us because it is the point at which we would take that step. Now, as I referred to earlier, from a 0-0 class civilization into a class 1 civilization, that will be the opportune moment, that will be the Kyrios. The quality of time will favor humans doing something magnificent in October of 2011 onward, and that the viewpoint from the powers that be is that their particular point of maximum stress, danger, risk, and opportunity is the 2012 date.